Hi, welcome to the mindofro page. My name's Ro, or you could call me Ifatitilayo or Oba. So today I'm actually going to open up for the first time publicly about living with a brain injury. I haven't talked to anybody about it. I haven't even really talked about it with my family too much and my friends. So I'm gonna open up about it, and the reason why I am is because I've had a lot of people following me and seen a lot of my posts about my spiritual experiences and some stuff I share, a lot of wisdom on communicating with spirits on the other side and stuff like that. So for those of you who have been following me, a lot of this stuff, my abilities to do this actually hasn't ever happened to me until I hit my head. So I don't want to be discredited and told that I'm crazy or anything like that, but this seems to be a phenomenon that a lot of people who's hit their head have experienced, of being able to tap into another realm due to injuries. And a lot of the stories, I've done a lot of research, I've spoken to a lot of other people who's been through the same thing, that they've experienced the same experiences. Of a lot of the stuff is pretty accurate and in line with seeing future events, or being able to predict future events, or being aware of historical events that we've never studied, or being able to identify the personality of a specific spirit that has been spoken about for centuries and centuries and never ever reading anything on it. So a lot of this stuff, for somebody who's never experienced this, or for somebody who's never hit their head, would assume that people were crazy and they only experience it because they hit their head. But I mean, you can't discredit experiences from people who are experiencing this, and a lot of their experiences align with each other and match and are pretty accurate. So today I'm going to make this video on my experience of living with a traumatic brain injury. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Show me some support at mindofro. I also have a TikTok and a Twitter and a Instagram at mindofro. And a business Facebook page at the mindofro. So for those of you who've been following me for a while, I do little things like I mix words up a lot, or I used to stutter a lot when I first had my injury. I don't stutter nearly as much as I used to, but I do communicate a little bit better. But the reason why I've recently woke up to these issues is because my spouse has been bringing up a lot of stuff about. And my coworker, I asked recently, of people trying to speak to me, multiple reports of people saying that they're trying to speak to me, and it's almost like I have a glaze over my eyes, and I'm not there. And so before I get started, I'm just going to let you know a little history of how I got my concussion, or how I got my traumatic brain injury. Is 2 years ago, I was in an abusive relationship, and this man threw me on the cement outside, and I actually ended up pulling my rotator cuff, and I ended up having a neck injury because I fell kind of like at an angle backwards, and I hit the back of my head on the cement. And when I did that, what it did was push the front of my frontal lobe to the front of my skull, causing me to have a contusion. If you're not sure what a contusion is, basically what that is bruising or multiple micro, I can't remember the name of it. Basically is basically what a bruise is internal bleeding is what it is. So I had a frontal lobe contusion about 2 years ago. So I'm just gonna try to be organized with it as best as I can. I'll explain what I went through when I first had it and what I'm going through now. When I first happened, I wasn't able to speak for about 2 months. And what makes me angry now that I realize is I was seeing doctors for my neck and my shoulder, and I'm wondering why my doctors did not try to help me with my brain injury. And then some people would ask me, well, why didn't you get help? Well, because I wasn't mentally here. To be honest, I feel like I just now realized within this week that I was having brain injury symptoms, that I was kind of subconsciously aware of it, but I wasn't really aware of it until recently. So I'm kind of upset that I feel like I should have been getting help. But at the same time, when I first injured my head, I was with an abusive partner who was trying to underestimate my injuries and hold things against me, because that's what abusive assholes do basically is making me feel guilty for my reactions to the concussion. I wasn't able to speak for 2 months. It was hard for me to verbalize what I was thinking, verbalize how I was feeling. It was so bad to the point that if you asked me what I wanted to eat, I couldn't explain to you what I wanted to eat. Therefore, I would either get angry and frustrated, or I would just completely shut down. I specifically remember times when I around the time when I hit my head, that there were times where I would just zone out and sit at the dining room table and just like literally just stare out to space and not move. I remember my ex snapping his fingers in front of my face and clapping his hands and trying to get my attention. And it's like I subconsciously knew he was there, but I consciously wasn't responding. It's almost like I've got to a point where I felt like my mind, and this is what I realize, a lot of people always have this question, what came first, your mind or your brain? And from my personal experience, I'm not saying that this is fact, that I feel like your mind came first, because I've realized that your mind is what tells your brain to do something physically, and then your physical body is what reacts, is when your brain tells yourself to do something, but your mind tells your brain to do something. And that's when I realized, since I've hit my head, is that my mind will say this, do this, or react this way, and my brain is somewhere else kicking a ball somewhere. And it can be very frustrating that I'm saying, okay, brain, do this, and it's not reacting the way I want it to. It took a long time for me to be able to speak correctly. I was stuttering a lot. I was slurring my words. I was talking really slow. And then after a while, I started talking too fast, which is a common side effect to concussions, of not being able to control the speed of either your moving or your speaking, thinking, reacting. Either it's too slow or too fast. Or same thing with emotions, is either I feel like my emotions are completely turned off, disconnected, or I am completely emotional. But from my experiences, a lot of the emotions are not tied to actual emotions. It's basically the brain being overwhelmed and not being able to process information. So it's normal for somebody who's had a brain injury to feel frustrated constantly when they're trying to do something or say something and they're unable to. My personal issue from a frontal lobe injury is not being able to verbalize what I want, verbalize how I feel or think, verbalize my experience of what I've been going through. So this is what I realized, is I've reached out to a lot of other people who's been through the same thing, and I feel like when a person hits their head, their brain and their soul recollaborates. So what I mean by that is I ended up being really psychic. So because a part of my brain was unable to handle the physical realm and I wasn't able to physically verbalize my physical feelings, or physically be able to even understand or be aware of my physical existence, I started to tap into my brain automatically, not by choice, just automatically bounce like that, boom, to the non-physical realm, where I started to hear spirits talking to me. I started seeing spirits walking around. They started telling me things. And as soon as when I was going through the pain of the migraines, there's a lot of pressure in your head when you first hit your head. I was going through a lot of migraines at the time when this happened 2 years ago. It was hurting so bad, but even though I was going through this pain, there was a lot of non-physical activity going on, where they actually told me about the racial war that we're going through right now with the Black Lives Matter thing that's happening. Around the time when I hit my head 2 years ago, they actually told me and warned me about this racial war that was about to happen. And they told me that it was not going to be real, that it was going to be a setup. And if you're watching this and you think I'm crazy, I got to the point where, you know what, I don't care. I don't care if people think I'm crazy anymore, because you can't dismiss the fact that spirits warned me about the racial war that was about to happen. A lot of people say, well, there's been a racial war. No, I was specifically told that there was going to be a public racial war that was going to be all over the news. It's going to be public, and it's going to cause a division, and it's going to cause basically a way to make people's attention go somewhere else because they have another goal in mind, which I can't say here. And the reason why I'm not going to say is because I've been kicked offline for saying these things, and these beings, when I hit my head, started communicating with me. I actually wrote it down. I have a whole book that when I first hit my head, I wrote all these things down, and so far it's been pretty accurate. So since I hit my head, I ended up having prophetic gifts. I've been told what's going to happen. I've astral projected. I've left this physical realm multiple times. I've told my spouse about, sometimes if you go to the astral plane, there's a realm that you go to where your soul tries to leave your body, that there's other souls, and it's like an in-between realm. When you try to astral project, that some souls are stuck, and some souls want to be back here. So my personal experience of going to this realm is every time I actually tried to leave recently, last night, and I didn't want to go. I said, I don't want to astral project. And I feel every single time I go to this place, I feel like cold hands touching me, and they're grabbing at me. And I asked somebody about this experience, and he specifically told me it's because of souls are trying to take your body. Because it's like ever since I hit my head, I feel like my soul is loose, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of, it's hard to explain. It's kind of, I guess if you have a chipped nail and you feel like a part of your nail is falling off, that's what it feels like. It feels like your soul isn't holding on to your physical body, like it's bouncing around. Not only is my soul bouncing from dimension to dimension, but I feel like my actual physical brain's awareness is as well. That's why I know so many people have reported that they've tried to speak to me and they feel like I'm not understanding what they're saying, or I'm not responsive, or I'm not reacting the way I should react to whatever it is that they've said to me, or if certain things happen, or certain things treat me, or certain people treat me a type of way, that I'm not responding the way I should be responding. And what is weird is that I subconsciously knew the 2 years I was doing it, but I consciously didn't know I was going through it, which is really weird. And I've been in shock mode in this last week when I've just finally realized that I've had a brain injury for the last 2 years, and I've been going through these things because of an injury. And I'm just now realizing and coming back into reality and realizing, why was I not being aware, or why was I not being open about not being able to process information, or not being able to verbally say things, or if I'm not being able to handle daily things that I need to do in my life, why was I not being open to it? But I've been doing a lot of research and realizing that it's normal to be that way when you have a brain injury, because the frontal lobe basically is where the processing of your self-evaluation comes from. So if you get hit there, it's normal to not be able to self-evaluate certain things. So not only that, but I guess I could just be open about all the things that I seen when I hit my head. I had a dog that passed away years ago named Magwai, and I seen her come to me multiple times since she passed away. Sorry, it's hard. I've heard my mom talk to me since she passed away. I heard my grandma that passed away, she came and talked to me. I've seen all kinds of spirits, and I've had spirits take me around the globe. I've had dead relatives talk to me. And it's hard to open up about it because people think you're crazy, you know? And it's like I met so many other people who's hit their head and they said they've had the same experiences. And it feels so real when people say, oh, well, you think it's real because we hit your head. Like, no, it's like I was taken to other dimension, and I've been taught by spirits that tell me things about the universe that I didn't know before I hit my head. Like how everything's an illusion, that there's multiple lives that are just like this, Just like people who are watching me, we've lived this multiple times and we've died multiple times and we don't even realize it because we keep recreating the same reality over and over and over again. That what we see as death is an illusion. And when people die, I mean, they think we're dead and they're alive, you know? That there's multiple versions of ourselves that bounce from different dimensions. That sometimes if we can't handle a life, we could literally go to another dimension and live another life and think that our previous life was discontinued when it's not. It's like it's another dimension, and it's so weird that everything is an illusion, you know? That this dimension that we're in, this physical realm, is like we manifested ourselves. And I keep asking myself, well, why do I keep coming back to this dimension? I was brought to a place where there is no misunderstanding, where there's no separation. So it's like I come back here, and that's all there is misunderstanding and separation, and it's so hard to be in this realm. It's like once you leave and you go somewhere better, it's so hard to come back and live here. And some people who's never left, they don't understand. And it's like I've talked to other people who hit their head, and they've been there as well. There's a better place, and it's not like what a lot of these dogmatic people make it seem. It's not like this heaven. It's not like the way people make it seem, where it's just a bunch of clouds and light. It's not what it is. There's an area that you could go to before everything is manifested. Everything that's happening is here that you look at is because we collectively manifest it. And there's a realm we go to, whether it's darkness and constant understanding. Every single thing that you think you consciously understand all comes into reality in this realm. It's like you go to this place and everything you've ever known, everything you subconsciously feel like you've ever known, it comes to reality, to where, oh my God, this is what I've always known. And every single connection you've had with every single soul and every single God, every single thing that would be considered a matter, whether it's a plate, whether it's a spoon or a chair, everything has its own energy. And when you go to this place, it's like you know why you manifested this, and it's so peaceful. But it's like you get sent back, you know, you get sent back here, and it's like I come back here and it's a fucking mess. Like this dimension is a fucking mess, but at the same time I have been told to understand that everything needs to be respected, you know, everything, even no matter how messy it seems in this dimension, that it has to be respected. And we experience these experiences to teach us to respect and understand the higher dimensional concept of why we experience these things, and we have to learn how to respect it. But when you go to a place that's so much more peaceful, where there's no misunderstanding, I don't want to say it's love, because I feel like the word love is so underestimated. It's so cheesy that's not what it is. It's not that. It's not a place where everything is love. It's the best way I could explain it. It's a place where there's no such thing as misunderstanding. There's no such thing as division. Just imagine if everybody understood everything that was happening, how peaceful it would be. You know, we have all these questions on these different dimensions, and what if this, what if that. Imagine if you just knew everything and nothing bothered you about anything that you knew. The existence is of everything. And I've realized that your soul and your body is just a vessel, and you could astral project, and you could go to these different realities and these different universes and different dimensions whenever you want. The only thing is, it's hard to come back, you know? It's hard for you to come back, not only because you don't want to, but because there's other souls that want to jump in your body, you know? And I feel like for the last 2 years, I've been completely numb, and I've been completely out of sync with my own body, and I just returned recently, and I'm like, Well, what the fuck was watching my body for 2 fucking years? You know, what if my body was alive? What was watching my body for 2 years? And it's like I remember everything that happened for the last 2 years, but I'm like, why was I so numb? How can I not realize all these this mental issues that I was having, like not being able to remember, not having short memory, not being able to handle multitasking. Like if I'm washing the dishes, to not hear somebody speaking to me because I'm too focused on washing the dishes, or not remembering little things like I have to set an appointment. Anything that doesn't line up with my regular schedule, to not be able to remember. Getting dizzy and discombobulated from trying to draw or paint, or playing a video game, or feeling like I'm in a dream world, constantly feeling like I have one foot in a non-physical realm and having a foot in the physical realm, feeling like I have a different spirit in my body, that I don't know who I am, that I've been told that my personality has changed. My personality has changed probably like 3 times since I hit my head. And something I realize is your personality usually reflects the energy that you hold. So your energy is your soul. So if my energy is changing, does that mean my soul is changing? And this is what it feels like to have a traumatic brain injury, is to feel completely disconnected from your body, to feel completely disconnected from your life, or disconnected from your personality, or disconnected from previous experiences, not being able to even, I've had issues trying to I've had issues with decision making, trying to make my mind up with anything, being able to decipher the difference between if I should be angry at this or if I should be angry at that, and like overestimating one thing and underestimating another situation. Or just the biggest issue has been just feeling completely disconnected from this physical realm, from this specific dimension I call the third dimension, that I can't live in the regular world anymore, that all the conversation I have is basically off the spiritual realm. And I'm sure a lot of you have been following me and seeing a lot of my videos because it's based off the spiritual realm, because that's where I'm at all the time. But I'm like, how do you function in this world? How do you live here if you're always in the other realm? And you can't even talk to regular people because they think you're fucking crazy. And they think you're going through things because you hit your head, or they think you're psychotic or something. But I reached out, and I have a post-concussion support group I go to, and a lot of people say they experience the same things. There's a lot of things that people have spoken on online that I physically seen. I almost feel like they're in the physical realm because I hit my head. They call these beings the mimics. What I've seen is that what there are is there shadow beings that will change form to mimic whatever it is that you fear, because they like to live off your emotions. And basically what that is kind of like oxygen to them. And if they don't live off your emotions, they cease to exist. And I've heard people mention these beings. Some people might call them reptilians. Some people call them demons. Whatever you want to call them. I see them as mimics, and the reason why I call them mimic is because I see them change form, and I see them go up to people and they whisper negative things into people's heads. So a lot of times when you have these negative thoughts in your heads, like I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of the times it's mimics. They whisper things, they get up really close and they whisper these things in your head. And then next thing you know, I'll see like a mimic whisper something in somebody's head in front of me. I'll see him do it. And then within 2 days, I'll hear that person verbally say out loud exactly what that mimic just whispered in their head. You can't really go up to people and tell them these things. You know, they're going to think you're fucking crazy. That you're seeing things and whatever. And yeah, I am seeing things, but you can't discredit it because this stuff has been reported by multiple people and multiple websites, multiple videos, and multiple experiences. And a lot of these people experience these experiences because their brain's at a certain state where their brain waves are slowed down, either in a sleepy state or a traumatic state or a brain injury. And it shouldn't be discredited, because why would all these stories match each other if it's not real? Why would I have the same exact experience as somebody else who had a brain injury? Why is it that everybody who hit their head, majority of people who hit their head, end up going to the non-physical realm and reporting the same things, feeling like they have multiple souls? Recently, since I've came back, I feel like I'm in shock, because I'm like, how can I not know that I wasn't mentally here for 2 years? And a part of me feels like I have a different soul. I feel like another soul came to this realm and came into my body to help me handle my brain injury, because the other soul in my body wasn't handling the brain injury. The other part of my soul wasn't fixing the problem. So I feel like that other soul like either moved out the way or left. And right now I feel like I'm a different soul right now. Is this normal? No. Is it normal for brain injuries? Yeah, it is. Is it? I can't ask myself, is it real? Do I really have a different soul in my body right now that's here to help me handle this physical realm, to help me handle my brain injury? And is this soul going to leave later? I feel like this soul that's in my body now is going to just handle this situation and get it together and then leave. And then another soul is going to enter my body that's going to help me handle my business. Now, do I feel this way because I feel totally disconnected and spiritually divided because of my head injury? It's only a head injury feeling? Or is it accurate? Or is it both? And I ask myself this all the time. I've been asking myself this recently. I've spoken to a lot of people who's been feeling the exact same way with head injuries, to feel totally disconnected from this realm. It's normal to go somewhere and not want to be here. And I know a lot of people over here has woken up to what's happening in the world, and they feel like they don't want to be here. But this is which I was feeling like before I hit my head, but it's different. It's way different now since I hit my head, because I feel like I've actually left for a while. I feel like I've actually been gone for a couple years, and I just now came back. But I feel like the soul that came back is a different soul. I feel like I'm from a different dimension. I feel like I've been in other dimensions, and I feel like I'm here to help this body get this brain injury together, and then I'm going to leave. And then this body's going to have a different soul in it for a while that you might not recognize. Maybe some people might realize my personality changes. Or maybe I'm just saying that because I hit my head. I don't know. But this is how I feel. I'm trying to think of other things I went through. I hope this helps anybody. I don't know if anybody's watching this that's hit their head, that's been through the same thing, but a part of me appreciates it because I'm like super psychic now, you know? I started doing aura readings. I was never able to do aura readings prior to my head injury. I was never able to see, hear, speak to spirits prior to my head injury. And I know a lot of you who've been following me, that's all I do is share information on how to speak to them. I've been discredited multiple times, saying, oh, you can't contact spirits unless you're initiated, or you're just crazy and blah, blah, blah. The reason why I know that's inaccurate is because there's a being I spoke to by his name's Shango. He's a non-physical being. We call him an Orisha. Never knew about Orisha, never knew about this, or we would call a god. I never knew about the spirit of my life, never read about the spirit in my life. The spirit contacted me, and I went to my spouse at the time, and I specifically described what the spirit's personality was like, the way he spoke, the way he acted. And he told me that it's very accurate. He said, if you read books, that's exactly what he's like. And I'm not making this up. I never read about him. Never heard any information. Nobody ever described the spirit to me. And my description of this spirit was very accurate. I have met this spirit named Shango who spoke to me. And I didn't make it up. And I wouldn't have been able to speak to a spirit like this if I didn't hit my head. So one thing that I've realized, not with myself, but other people who suffer from brain injuries, is we get discredited a lot. A lot of issues that I had is when I tell somebody I'm in a dark space in my head, it's hard for me to process information, or I get frustrated because I feel like neurons aren't connecting the way I want to. I feel like my brain's not doing what I'm telling it to do. And some people will discredit it and say, oh, you just need to talk to a psychologist and you're just having emotional problems. No, that's not what it is. People who have brain injuries, it's not an emotional problem. What it is the neurons not being able to connect and the brain getting stressed out because it's not, your brain's not doing what you're telling it to do. So it's normal to respond emotionally. So a lot of people who have brain injuries get discredited and they're told like, oh, well, you just need to handle your emotions. Or no, that's like sweeping the dirt under the rug. That's like telling people, oh, it's on your head that you just broke your leg. You need to, and that's like somebody who breaks their leg, right? And then they cry over it, and then you tell them, oh, well, you just need to handle your emotions. No, that person has something that's injured and it needs to be dealt with. This is something that I realized doing with a brain injury is we get discredited a lot. We get told that, oh, it's just an emotional issue. No, it's not just an emotional issue. It's more than that. It's a neuron issue. Or being told like, oh, it's just, I'm sure some of you guys have noticed that I go in on the New Age movement a lot. And the reason why I do is because New Age movement discredits a lot of, they discredit a lot of things. From my personal experience, I've specifically made a post on a concussion page recently stating that I've had a lot of spiritual experiences and I need help with my I need help with my physical brain being able to process information. And I've had a few spiritual people say, oh no, you just need to meditate, blah, 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 and you just need to balance your no, that's not what it is. And this is what I get tired of, and this is what a lot of people with brain injuries get tired of. We're being discredited. The issue is a neuron connection. When you get your neurons injured, it's hard for your neurons to connect and tell you this is this or that is that. Your mind is telling your brain to do one thing and your brain's not responsive and your brain's not doing what your mind is telling it to do. So it's literally like you're living with a new brain. And this is what's frustrating, and this is what makes me angry. This is what a lot of people with brain injuries get angry about because we get discredited. It's not a spiritual disconnect. It's honestly, we get actually way more spiritually connected from hitting our head. It's not because we're fucking crazy. It's not because we're emotionally unstable. It's because it's a neuron. It's a neuron, and I feel like when your brain is disconnected, it has to do what it has to do to survive. So your soul starts to connect with other abilities to be able to survive in this physical realm. Which is why I became super psychic since I hit my head, and why a lot of other people have all these spiritual experiences from hitting their head. I get frustrated a lot. I've actually blown up on a lot of people since I've hit my head. I'm sure some of it has to do with PTSD, but I also feel like it's because I get discredited or ignored, because a lot of us people with brain injury, we deal with that, you know. And till today, it's been 2 years, and I've told my doctor that I need help remembering. I'm having issues in my life that I need help. And she discredited it, and she's totally ignored me. So I went to the ER last night, and the doctor specifically said, why weren't you getting help? And I was like, I don't know. My brain was dead for like forever. And then on top of it, when I did ask for help, my doctor completely ignored me. And I've heard that a lot of people with brain injuries go through this, that a lot of times we ask for help and people are just ignoring you and act like it's something emotional, act like it's something like, and then when it comes to spiritual people, they act like, oh, you could just meditate it away, or you could just ask your ancestors for help. No, it's more than that. It's a neuron disconnect is what it is. And I think that people with a brain injury need to not only we need to be helped to recognize that, and so do people, whoever our caregivers are, people are around us, need to understand that. It would really help a lot. I really don't want to open up about that because I think a lot of people like us need help, and people need to be aware of it. when they're around people with brain injuries, or if we have a brain injury, because for 2 years I wasn't even aware of it. And because I wasn't aware of it for 2 years, my life fell apart. That it's hard for me to get my life together. And I feel like when you hit your head, it's like you're constantly trying and you're trying and you're trying, and you can't figure out why you can't get things together. It's because your brain can't process information correctly. Everything that was normally before isn't normal anymore. And not only is that things are not normal, it's trying to adapt to this physical realm, trying to adapt to a new personality that I constantly feel like I'm not who I was before. And I talked to professionals, and I've read some articles saying that I will never be who I was before I hit my head. And that's scary, and it's sad to know that I will never be that person I was before, that I'm a different person, I have a different brain, a different life, and a different way to process information. And I have to learn to live with being in the physical realm and the non-physical realm, and learn to identify with this new soul, or my body being able to adapt to having what I feel like having different souls live in my body to help this body survive, and for this body to accomplish whatever mission this body came here to accomplish. And whatever happened to my previous soul, sometimes I feel like that soul might have left, and I feel like I have a different soul now, which is really weird, but that's how I feel right now. So if you feel like my personality has changed recently, it has, because I feel like I have a different soul. I'm not who I was a week ago. I'm not who I was a year ago. I'm not who I was before I hit my head. It's like I'm a different person, you know? And I don't know when this person's going to change or when this soul is going to change up again. So I guess be mindful of it. I'm going to be honest when it comes to what has helped me, because I'm having issues retaining new information, that if I get told something new that I cannot relate to any past experience, I'm unable to hold on to the information. It won't stay. Sometimes it does if it's repeated to me over and over and over again, very, very repeatedly a lot. But a lot of times when I get new information given to me, it won't stay. It'll leave. But something that has helped me is meditating and asking for the beings on the other side to give me an inner standing, or a soulful standing. I don't want to say understanding, because it's not an understanding. It's more like a soulful, energetic standing, if that makes any sense. Because my brain can't understand new information, so I have to go to the other side and specifically ask, what does this mean? And they will give me an energetic understanding of what something means. And then I could take that new information and apply it to my life. But I can't do it regularly. You can't tell me something new and I'll just be like, oh, okay. It doesn't work that way. I have to take it to the other side, to the non-physical realm, and have them give me a soulful, energetic understanding before I'm able to understand anything that's new. That has helped me. Meditation, not just regular meditation, but actually asking non-physical beings to embed that what it is it's an energetic code. When you need to understand something, there's an energetic code that is embedded into your soul, that is embedded into your aura for you to understand. And because my brain is unable to take physical information and store it, I have to go to the other side, to the non-physical realm, and ask a deity to embed it into my energetic code for me to understand it. And that's what I have to do to understand anything that's new since I hit my head. I got initiated recently. I got initiated into Ifa. I got initiated into Obatala. I was previously crowned Obatala. Obatala is the Orisha of the cloth. I'm not going to get too into what that means exactly. If you want to know, you could just look it up, Obatala Orisha. Basically what that means is that energy of Obatala was embedded into my head. He's known to be the Orisha that helps build. That was one of the creative gods. He was considered the energetic creative force who created mankind. and who gives us our ori. And basically, our ori is our energy, our mind, or our soul that controls our body. So I was crowned Obatala, and I really realized recently I was crowned Obatala because I have a disconnect with my head because of my head injury. And I'd have to say it's helped a lot. I got initiated about 2 months ago, and I think the reason why I am just now realizing the stuff I'm going through is because of Obatala. And I feel like if I wasn't initiated into Obatala, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I wouldn't be as accepting as I am today, even though I feel like a big part of me is not accepting. But I think that it would have been worse if I wasn't initiated into Obatala. My personality has changed since I got initiated, and the reason why is because Obatala energy is with me now. But before that, my personality has changed because I hit my head. Because parts of my personality has left, and now I have a new personality now. I currently feel like I still don't know who I am. I'm waiting for this personality to change again. I'm very in shock and frustrated that I just really found out that I'm having brain injury issues. So now I'm stressed. I don't know how I'm supposed to live with it, you know? My spouse has been taking care of me a lot, and I really appreciate it. But it's hard to know that it's hard to take care of myself because of my injuries, that I could be doing something or saying something or acting that type of way and not realize it because my body's on autopilot. Or sometimes my speech is on autopilot, or my reaction is on autopilot, and I don't realize it until after I come out of autopilot, which really sucks. That I've been trying to be mindful of it, that if somebody's talking to me and I start to zone out, I can say, I'm sorry, I zoned out, you know? And it's not like the regular zone out. My brain will literally just turn off, and I'll go somewhere else, and I'll get a gaze on my eyes like I'm not even there. I'm gonna try to be mindful of it. So for those of you who know me, and you notice that I kind of go out and mentally space out somewhere, or you feel like I'm out there all the way. I mean, it's don't take it personal. It's a brain injury. I am getting help from it. I am just currently started working with getting in touch with neurologists to get help with the physical aspect, so I could exercise that frontal lobe, so I could be able to learn how to use it or put it back into regular use again. I don't know if it'll ever be back to normal. I know it'll be better because I got it. I was told by Ifa, or I was told by Arumala, who is the voice of God. I was told through a reading that it will be better, that I'm just in the beginning phase of healing my injury. But I will make more videos on my process of living with a traumatic injury, what it's like to actually live in this realm, in a non-physical realm, and to live in a body with a soul that bounces from different dimension to different dimensions, because it's normal now. It's normal for me to be totally disconnected from this realm. It's normal for my soul to just leave and go report to the non-physical realm and come back. And to miss that realm, to want to go back to, I feel like I want to go back a lot because this realm kind of sucks. I mean, there's a lot of drama going on over there. There's a lot of drama going on with my body. But this soul that I'm with now is here to help me handle these issues. And I will share more videos on what it's been like and my experiences of living with a traumatic brain injury, and what it's like to adapt to this body, and what it's like to feel like I'm a different soul in this body, and what it's like in other dimensions. I share a lot of posts on a regular of what it's like to be on the other side, and what it's like to talk to other beings that are non-physical. It's fun, I have to say it. It's fun to meet new beings, new non-physical beings, and to know that it's accurate, to know that other people has met these beings as well. It's very fun, but it's been stressful to be in this realm. It's been stressful to live in this physical existence. It's been stressful to live in a body that I feel like is broken now because of what someone's done to me. But I'm here for a reason. And I think my reason I'm here is I'm here to teach people about this place that I've learned from leaving my body is the divine web. I call it the divine web, is where everything is connected by a web or by a blanket, which would be why I'm a child of Obatala, because he represents the white cloth of existence, which covers the whole entire universe, but I like to call it the divine web. So I feel like I am here to be in this body until I've accomplished this body's mission to teach you about the divine web, to teach you what it's like to be there, to teach you what you could do to connect to the divine web. And I feel like my body has another, I feel like that's my spirit's goal. I feel like my body has another goal to help people with other physical issues that is in accordance to my ancestors to this physical body. So I feel like my physical body has to accomplish ancestral issues while my soul has another mission that's separate from it. So that's what I'm here to do. And I will make my future videos on a lot of that. If you have any more questions, what it's like to be on the other side, or if you need any more help or guidance, if you have a traumatic brain injury, or if you're a caregiver of a person with a brain injury, feel free to let me know. My next video, I'm actually going to make a video later on within the next couple hours called Hookah Time with mindofro. I haven't made a video on Hookah Time with mindofro for a while. I'm going to wipe my tears away and change my personality up again. And we're going to be smoking a hookah. I'm going to have a couple people on the show, and we're going to talk about what it's like to actually be Christ-like, what that actually means, because we did just pass the holidays. We're going to a new year. So we're just going to share some information on the history of putting presents under the tree and the lights and where the history of that really came from. I'm going to have a guest on the show, and what it's like to actually, what it really means to be Christ-like, and our personal experience ascending. So go ahead and tune in a couple hours, a little bit after 8. We're going to be having Hookah Time with mindofro. And I hope everybody is having a conscious night. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at mindofro. And hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever I have more wisdom and knowledge to share with you. Hotep, Namaste, Adabo. Peace.